Hello there and welcome back. My name is Elena.
And I'm Fotios, and this is the Game Court.
And it's finally time for the quarterly look back.
Another 3 months passed.
I cannot believe it, right? How does it happen? It's all so fast.
I know. So in this video we're covering the new to us games we played the last 3 months. That is July, August and September. Shall we
give it a go? Do we do this too often? Do we look weird? Never mind.
Who cares?
What's the first game we played?
The first game we played was Dune Imperium. So we went to the UK GE convention. It's the biggest convention in the UK. And we bought a few games, I would say. So one of the games we bought is the Dune Imperium with almost all the expansions, apart from the Immortality expansion. Mm-hmm. And Dune Imperium is 1 to 4 player game, and it basically is deck building in combination with worker placement. A lot of people compare it to Lost Ruins of Arnak.
With a bit of fight?
Yeah, it's a bit of fight.
Yeah, Arnak has a fight as well. Yeah. I can see that a little.
Yeah, not fight in Arnak, but you have the...
you fight the monsters.
Yeah, correct.
The dragons, the monsters.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's not a bad comparison.
Do you not know Arnak? Cheese.
Basically, the game is a race to whoever gets 10 points. The game end triggers, and then at that round,
everybody has another round.
Exactly. At the end of the round, you basically whoever has the most points wins. It's a very nice game, very thematic. If you like the Dune universe, I think it's a very, very nice thematic game.
After we played Dune Imperium, we played Hegemony, and that was not our copy, it was a friend's copy, thank you, Evangelos, and we played it in 4. Hegemony is a very, very popular game, and technically what you do is you are one of the classes of economy, and you can be the working class, you can be the state, the working class, the middle class, and the capitalist. I want to say corporate.
Capitalist.
It's kind of the same thing. And the capitalist. So you have one of them that you actually try to satisfy. You're trying to either satisfy the people, you're trying to build companies, you're trying to be the state and, provide for either the working class or for the capitalists. It's a very different game than what we've played, a long game.
Very asymmetric game. Every faction plays completely different. And so it's a game that you learn a lot while playing it. You learn how the state of economy, basically the capitalist system, works, if you wish.
It does give you, it's meant to actually educate and it's meant to actually teach you stuff throughout playing, which is an innovative way of actually producing games, isn't it? We enjoyed it a lot. Heavy to learn, plenty of rulebooks, a rulebook for every faction.
And many player aids, which are very helpful, by the way. Nice production overall. It's a very enjoyable game. If you haven't tried it, I think you need to try it at least once.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to us is we played it once and we obviously played each with one faction, and then at the end we were discussing and we were like, oh well, actually I would like to play the other faction as well. But how about the captains?
We played again afterwards. We changed functions. I played with the state, which I find maybe the most boring of the classes. I would say the state, but
I've not played the state. Yeah. I have not played the state, so I couldn't tell you, but yes.
We both really want to play the capitalists now, right? Yes. Then we played Marrakesh, which is a game designed by Stefan Feld.
Thank you very much for mentioning, because there are many Marrakesh, and then we had a different Marrakesh, the one with the little carpets.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different game.
We're not talking about the Marrakesh, which you roll and move Marrakesh.
Hey, roll and move Marrakesh is like
snakes and ladders.
That's like at least, a 10 out of 10.
No, we're talking about Stefan Feld's Marrakesh, which is basically city building, and you have the cases with the wooden pieces. You put in the tower, and then you draft these cases, and you try
as they fall, if they all fall out.
Correct, and then you put this case on your player board, so that you have about 10 regions on your player board, and you try to maximize the power of the actions you are doing. Quite nice game. I would say for me not the best Stefan Feld game. Still for me the best is Castle of Burgundy by far.
But it's a very good experience. We're glad that we tried it. It's it was one of these games that you cannot do everything at once, so you have to
focus. Yes,
you have to focus on your strategy. You can select some tiles at the beginning of the game. You can open them and then work a strategy around that.
In the desert, you mean?
Yes, in the desert. But it's not. It's one of these games that you have to focus on your end game. Otherwise, you will do nothing.
By the way, we have a review of Marrakesh. You can see the link here.
Next on the list is Shinkansen 0K. And Shinkansen, where is it? There we go. Shinkansen 0K is a super duper game that plays 1 to 4. And technically what you do is you're trying to build the fast train in Japan ready for the Tokyo Olympics.
Nice, yeah.
That's a super cool theme, isn't it?
It's designed by one of our favorite duo of designers, I would say. Nowadays, we really appreciate the games from this duo. Is Isra and Say. It's a couple from, I won't say Spain.
Spain, yeah. I think they're Spanish, yes.
Yes, and they have also designed the Cathedral and the White Castle, which we very, very much anticipate. We should have it later this week, I would say.
We cannot wait to unbox it and play it, guys,
yes.
and we'll tell you all about it. We might do a playthrough.
And the other game that we really like from this duo is 1987 Channel Tunnel, which we'll talk about later today. Then we played a game called Souvlaki Wars. And you know, if you don't know what souvlaki is, it's basically a wrap, a kebab, a Greek kebab wrap.
It's like a skewer, isn't it?
Yeah, when you say souvlaki in Greece, yeah, you can mean the skewer, but you can also mean like the pork gyros, yes, the gyros. Yeah, so we played Souvlaki Wars, which is a game designed by Vangelis Bagartakis, who is one of the co-designers of Hegemony, by the way.
That's how you managed to actually get to it.
I mean, I only got this game when we visited Greece out of fun, but it's a fun game to play. You have to deliver the orders, yeah. You have to
people get upset, orders, people get upset if you don't fill their orders and stuff like that. You lose money.
You lose money, you accumulate fame, which are the points. Quite fun game.
And then we went to the 24-hour marathon, which I must say I did not manage to get through the whole 24 hours because I was tired.
We did a 12-hour marathon.
I'm pretty chuffed with that.
Yeah.
2 hours is a long day. It's a long marathon.
24-hour marathon is an event organized in the UK. I don't remember the name of the guy who's organizing it, but it's
pretty popular, isn't it?
Yeah. It takes place in the southwest of England. A lot of people there. And Paul Grogan was there. And
this is how we bumped into Barcelona. He taught us Barcelona and we all played it at 4, which was quite intriguing, I would say. Barcelona is one of these games that you cannot, again, do everything at once and you have to focus on a few things because there are many things. So what you technically do there is you try to build Barcelona and you're trying to build particularly, you can build parks and stuff like that, but it's mainly houses, and you can build houses in places to attract people, and the people that you attract give you benefits, and then after you build the houses and the people come in, you can build roads with trams and all of that. So you actually build Barcelona technically.
And you're building also the cobblestone,
and then you build cathedrals as well and stuff like that. So you're technically just building Barcelona. Everything gives you a different, everything gives you kind of, combination of stuff.
And a lot of points.
You have a grid with actions on both sides. So it depends on where you actually place your house. You might do a combination of actions. A bit like Targi.
It's the opposite of Targi, right?
Yes,
Targi you put the two outside and then you do the interaction in the intersection of this.
Yeah.
Whereas here you put in the middle and you do the
outside of it. So it's opposite of Targi. It's exactly what it is. Interesting game. Again, don't try to do what I do and try everything in the game. I mean, I feel like I want to try everything. Like, you're at a table and you're eating, you want to try out of everything, right?
I would like to play Barcelona again, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I feel like I've tried too many things and I've not actually, discovered something nice. But I feel there's plenty for the game to give.
Then again, in 24-hour marathon event, we had the opportunity to play for the first time for us Gallerist.
We had it on our list for 100 years,
yes, we want to play, yeah. So we played Gallerist. It's a game designed by Vitala Serda, by the way. And we really liked it very much. Luke Hector from Broken Maple taught us the game and we appreciate that. And we liked it so much that immediately after we played it, we tried to find a copy. And you cannot easily find a copy of Gallerist. We found a second-hand copy and we really like our copy.
Can we just say we played it and then you decimated me?
Yeah, we played again, the two of us. Yes.
It was not what I was expecting. First time we played it, I was very excited by the game and I was very happy with the way I played, and I didn't score that bad for the first play.
In the first time you had about 109, I think. Between 100 and 110 points, yes.
Something around that like, so I don't know, it's not the worst score for that.
I scored something between 90 and 100.
And I was like, you know what? I really want to play this game and try a different strategy because I liked it. So I was like, I'm going to try a different strategy, and then we played it at home and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then I scored something along the lines 175 or something.
And then I kind of scored the same though.
I had 2 celebrities in my player board. It's a very nice game. Typical Lacerda game. Quite heavy, a lot of things to do, like
a list before you do anything else.
But
again,
still,
was it worker placement?
It's a work placement, yes.
Technically what you do is you try to manage your gallery, you try to get people to actually buy your stuff, that you know, get artists to put their art on the wall, and you get people to actually, you know, admire it, and then you get people that give you fame, so you can give it to your artists, so you can promote their art, and then people buy that super duper art, and that's technically, it works exactly like a gallery.
Basically, the game is to get rich.
Technically, it's to get rich on the back of artists that are poor.
Exactly.
That's odd.
And try to make your artists as famous as possible, to sell their art as much as possible.
You are using, you know, your influence like there is no tomorrow everywhere.
Exactly. Not to say that the visitors in your gallery have the colors of a gelato ice cream.
Yeah, with the brown and the white and the
pink. Yes.
And for whatever reason, it feels like 12 hours have not been enough. We've squeezed as many games as we could, and these are only the new games that we played, because we played games that we have played before, so we've not mentioned those ones. This is one of the games that, as we were setting up Gallerist, the people next to us, and I'm really sorry I don't remember your name, guys, but I really appreciate you've brought this game into our lives. This is Genius Square, and it sounds like a stupid game, right? But it is such an amazing game, and we should use it from now on. This game takes, what, 30 seconds to play? Like, one play takes, what?
Yeah.
30 seconds, a minute tops to play. So what you have is you have polyomino tiles in it. You roll some dice that have some...
blockers, I would say.
Some blockers, yeah. So it will give you a letter and a number on each die. You roll them, you put some blockers... There's some like little wooden pieces, some extra wooden pieces that you place in places, and then you start at the same time, and whomever finishes all their pieces, puts all their pieces inside the grid, wins, which is very easy. It gives me very much Blockus vibes. If you've not played Blockus, Blockus is one of my favorite games
as well
in the world, and Ubongo. Kind of a combination of these two, but it plays in like 30 seconds. So we normally play a few rounds of them until, I don't know, first to 3, first to 5, something along those lines. We should use it as next time instead of rock, paper, scissors, for example.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
Whenever we have a disagreement with Elena now, let's say what we want to order, let's say kebab or Chinese. All the life-changing decisions are sorted out by a game of Genius Square.
You cannot get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. Unless you absolutely despise this dexterity games, and this is definitely not the game for you, but unless, you know, you cannot stand it, this is a game for everybody, for every age, for everybody. Okay, I'm done now.
And then we played 3 games in a pub with our gaming friends, Patricia and Evangelos. So the first game was called Super Express, which is a card game, very fast to play, which is like the Colt Express.
Yeah, it's the card version of Colt Express.
And I have to say I enjoyed it even more than the Colt Express itself. It's a very, very nice small game where you have to basically kill your opponents, right, and be the last one alive on the train.
At the front of the train,
yes, correct. And every round, one passenger car is moved, so the train becomes smaller and smaller by the rounds. It's a very nice game. I really enjoyed it.
It has an expansion where if somebody throws you off the train...
The time machine.
Not the time machine, but the horse.
Oh yeah, the horse as well.
The horse will catch you, so your horse will be around the train just like in a movie, and that will catch you, and then you will go back onto the train. So it's pretty thematic, and I really like it.
And the mechanic here is program movement. So you have your 3 cards. I think you play 3 cards
open them from left to right, correct.
And then you open one, you do that action. Then your opponent does the same. It goes around the table.
So forth,
and you open the second one. And sometimes, you know, when you open your card, because things have changed, your action is invalid.
I know, and that means you just like die on the side.
Very
Which
nice.
is silly. We played it twice. It's a silly, funny game.
The same evening, we played King of Tokyo for the first time, which is basically a dice chunking game, like a Yaji, if you wish, but with a theme.
So you are a monster of some sort, and you try to be the king of Tokyo. So you try to be in Tokyo, and you try to damage the people around Tokyo. You can damage the person in the monster in Tokyo as well. But it's technically whomever is last wins the game. Whoever's standing in Tokyo wins the game. It's as simple as it sounds. It's a very nice game. Another condition to win the game, apart from whomever's standing in Tokyo last wins, is if you get to 20 points and I won.
Yes, Elena, the dice chunker.
In Tokyo.
in Tokyo. The same night, we also played Sheriff of Nottingham for the first time, which is basically a negotiation game, I would say. So you're trying to squeeze your illegal imported goods from the inspector and you try to bribe the inspector to let you pass. And if they believe you, they will just take the bribe and let you go, but sometimes they might get suspicious, not get the bribe, and inspect what your goods are, and if you're actually importing illegal goods,
you have to pay for everything, whatever is illegal in your hand, you have to pay extra for. Everybody gets a turn at being the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff.
And everybody will try to bribe you, and you're just trying to negotiate, I have three breads in my bag here for my children at home and stuff like that. So, you try to convince the sheriff that what you have is not illegal. There are two types of cards. That's what we're talking about. Some are green, which means that they are good merchandise, and some are red, which means they're illegal. You can have like bread, for example, in both cards, but if you play the illegal ones, then those are the ones that will have to not be declared. Next on the list is Shipyard, and this is the first edition that we played, and this is a game designed by Vladimir Suchi.
Yeah, and actually the second edition is being presented right now in Essen, Spiel, the convention in Europe, and it looks better the second edition, but we also like our first edition copy. We got it second hand, it was out of print, so we managed to find a copy, and we actually quite enjoyed it.
So in Shipyard you actually build ships, so you have...
Really?
It's in the name.
Yeah.
So you technically have you have a myriad of actions that you could do throughout, and it has the same wheel style of action that you can take.
Like Woodcraft.
That's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
I'm the trusty assistant, remember.
Sometimes you are helpful, thank you. So what you do is on your board you can build as many ships as you can actually fit, really. It depends on actually what your actions are at the end. So you get little tiles that represent the ship, and then after you build that, or whichever way you want to, you can add stuff like military guns, or you can add
cranes.
That's the one, cranes,
yes.
Or some extra people that will give you extra points.
Chimneys for the speed, or propellers. You can add people as well, as you said.
Like
yes,
there are
correct.
different accessories that you can add onto your boat.
And everything matters. Everything will score you points.
And then when the boat is ready to sail, you'll have to sail it onto your map that you will have to create as well. And that might score you some extra points if you have created your boat in such a way to actually score things.
Shipyard is the definition of rondelles. Apart from the rondelle for the actions, you have the rondelle for the commodities market, and the rondelle to pick up the recruits, the crew members. So you have the rondelle about everything.
Everything is a rondelle. The rondelle on the right hand side that gives you some extra perks on tiles.
Correct.
That's everything is a rondelle in this game.
So if you don't like rondelles,
don't play this game.
But we do like rondelles.
So that's, it worked for us.
Then we played a game called Firenze, and Firenze is a game that uses bricks, tiles if you wish, for everything. As money, as construction blocks, as a commodity, as anything.
Or you exchange stuff as well, everything is just bricks.
So in Firenze, which is basically Florence, the Italian name for Florence in Italy, you try to build towers, and you can build the high towers which gives you more points, or the small towers give you less points, and this kind of, try to accumulate points within the game, but also try to focus on area majority on different colors of towers for the end of the game.
Do you have cards that help you throughout the game that you could draft, you could buy with bricks?
I would say some of the cards do not help you.
Some of them are inevitable, so you will have to take them, and that will give you some bad juju stuff.
Juju. So
But all in all, though, it's either card drafting or you place your little bricks everywhere.
And the card drafting, how it works, we have seen in other games like Canvas, for instance. So if you take the first card, it's free. The second card costs one block that needs to be placed on the first card, and so on and so forth. You can pick any card you want, but the further you go on the row, the more expensive it becomes effectively.
And at the end of each round, you must place a brick on top of every tower that you create within your house. Otherwise, if you cannot place a brick, then everything gets discarded to the ground, and then you pull your hair out because it's terrible.
The next game we played is Sounds Fishy, and it's basically a party game.
Sounds fishy?
Sounds fishy.
Or smells fishy?
Sounds fishy in this case, yeah. And it's effectively a party game. One of the players will read a question like that, and on the back of the question is the correct answer. And every of the other players gets a card, and all of them will have to lie apart from one player who must say the answer,
Everybody
the
will
correct
have
answer.
a red fish. No,
Yeah,
blue fishes.
Blue fish. And the red fish has to say the correct
correct.
answer. Yeah. And the blue fishes have to provide answers that are confusing enough, if you wish, so for the player who actually makes the question to select them as the real answer compared to the red answer.
And it's all like silly questions,
Very.
and none of them actually make much sense.
Yes.
And they're answers that you, if you know, it will be very surprising, but it will be odd at the same time. But they're all very funny, silly questions. We also actually finally played Caverna Cave versus Cave, which is a 2-player version of Caverna, the big Caverna.
The cave farmers.
The cave farmers' big Caverna, as I said.
The thing is that when it comes to the big Caverna, we really enjoy the game, but we don't really like it at 2. So we said,
let's give this a go. This is technically meant to offer you the cave version of Caverna without the farm outside and without the animals and without the planting and none of that. So it's technically just a cave inside where you still excavate, where you still build your rooms, where you still... I don't think you have children. You don't have children in this one. But you still build different rooms that give you... It's exactly the same kind of style of Caverna, but it's only the inside of the cave, really. Slightly less complicated compared to the main Caverna.
Yes.
Does it make me play Caverna more in 2? Not really.
Still, for us, it's not a replacement of Caverna.
It's disappointing because I really wanted it to work, because Caverna is like one of these games that works in higher player counts so well, but it doesn't work as well in 2, so it's a little bit disappointing, but I'm very glad that we tried it.
We also played La Strada, which is an older game by Martin Wallace, and is, I would say, an introduction to networking and trains as well, because you have these hexes to create new network and connect cities and villages.
It's only one colour that
towns.
can go onto a hex.
Correct. It's a very nice, very simple game, plays amazingly at 4, at full count, and each round basically you have a number of resources which you can spend all or you can keep for the next round, and you can build in different terrains. Each terrain costs a different number of resources, and the idea is that to try to isolate cities and places so that only you can go there, so you can score the most points.
The more people go there, the less attractive it
Correct.
is, the less points it scores. Next on our list is The Hunt, and this was a new game that we just received. It's quite new for me particularly because I have never played a secret movement game, and I was quite reluctant because I wasn't sure how I'm going to react to it. It's not something that I would normally try, it's not something that I would normally go for, but it was surprisingly nice.
It's a war game, I would say.
It's a war game, and it's a war in between the UK and
the Germans.
Yes. I want to say Russia for whatever reason.
It's World War II.
It's World War II, and what you technically do is you're in open waters, and you, as the British, are trying to get your cargoes with good merchandise to different areas. So you can go to South Africa or you can go to Brazil, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your ships out so you can deliver more. And what Germany is trying to do is Germany is trying to stop you from doing that, because
Germany's trying to sink your ships.
They are trying to just destroy whatever you're trying to do. So you, as the British, are trying to discover where the Germans are before they actually destroy how many?
Five, I would say.
Five of your cargo ships. So that's the gist of the game.
The art of the game is very nice. I think the card play is also very nice. The card abilities are very powerful, and it's a very nice overall game with a very minor nitpick with the roll of the die. Sometimes it feels a bit unlucky, if you wish, if your roll is not good enough.
It's very hard to mitigate that die as well, because to actually have a successful, you can search. So let's say you did search and you did find a ship. To destroy, actually have to roll a die, and the die has to have either a value of 5 or 6, which is quite hard to get to, and it's almost impossible to mitigate, which is a bit of a downfall really. But overall, apart from that, the game is excellent.
Quite a lot of a game for a small box.
Correct. It took us ages to actually play it.
Yes.
It is a lot of thinking and planning ahead. It's a very, very good game.
Then we played a smaller game, a lighter game, which is called Remember Our Trip.
I think it was a lot of hassle and bustle at one point, and I was quite intrigued of, everybody was describing this game like, oh, it's very hard to describe, and it's a game that doesn't look like any other. And I'm like, what is this all about?
Yeah, it's basically, I wouldn't say cooperative, it's definitely a competitive game, but you have a collective memory board, if you wish, where you try to put the pieces. Let's say let me put it straight. You came back for a trip, right? And you try to discuss with your players to put the memories together, basically. And if you match your memories, you're going to get most of the points. That's the idea of the game. And you have the main board where all the collective memories go, and then you have your individual board, like trying to match the collective board. And
it's a little puzzle that
puzzle.
Every person does it individually. If they do match with the other person, with any other person really, then is it a 2-player game?
It's up to 4 players, yeah.
I would imagine. Then you get some extra points, but technically you're doing your own little puzzle. It's just a puzzle game, and
it's a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game. That's exactly what it is. So I think apart from this element where you try to commonly go with what the other people have done so you can gain some extra points, like match the same buildings as they did for extra points, it's a puzzle game.
And from a mechanics point of view, it's basically drafting and a bit
you draft little discs.
Yes, little tokens, and then you place them on the board in a different polyomino shapes, and then on the main board you also put polyomino shapes.
We also play Abyss in this period, and Abyss is one of the games that has probably one of the best covers I have ever seen, and they have a myriad of them as well. They're all different and they're all very beautiful. The art in this game is absolutely excellent. In this game, what you try to do is you try to exchange resources for monsters, from like sea monsters. I would say it's all in the abyss, which is underwater in this game. By the way, did I just say art is just beautiful in this game? Art is just amazing in this game. So technically you have a little market at the top with resources that different players can bid little pearls for that, and at the end of all of this you may or may not get a card or a pearl or something along those lines. So whomever gets 7 monsters first triggers the end of the game, and there are some extra things that you will score for. But basically this game reminds me very much of a game called Aquatica. I really liked Aquatica when we played it, and I still like Aquatica. Aquatica is more complicated. It has the little tucking of the cards and the moving of the cards and stuff like that.
It's because of the theme.
This game does not have the theme. It's very similar, and I feel that the same, buying of the monsters, which again in Aquatica is very present. It reminds me very much of that. But again, I think it's a very simplified version of Aquatica, but nonetheless not a bad game.
One thing I like about Abyss is the tactile experience of the pearls exchanging hands all the time, because when a player draws cards and then the other players bid on the cards, what's the currency there basically is pearls, so you're exchanging pearls.
And you put them in the little plastic domes, and they all bounce around and they make a nice noise. That's quite nice, isn't it?
The next game we played is Cowboy Bebop, Space Serenade. And this is a game that I bought for my travels in the US, because you cannot find this game here, but you can find it easily in the US. So I brought it along. It's basically a deck building game, and it has this element. You're a space cowboy.
Yeah, this is after an anime. So Cowboy Bebop is an anime that you could watch if you like very much. We have not watched it, but we heard that the game is good, so we tried it.
We watched one episode,
we watched a little,
but it didn't really sit with us basically. But yeah, we want to try the game anyway. And you have 4 asymmetric characters, not huge asymmetries, but they're a bit asymmetric how they play. And you build your own deck, as I said. You try to kill the bad guys, and you do this in a collective manner, so it's kind of semi-cooperative.
Yeah, you can use force to actually attack them, or you can outsmart them.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Some characters will have this element that you can be cleverer than the monsters, so you kill them, you defeat them by that.
The criminals.
Oh yes, the criminals, not the
monsters in this case, yes. And you travel from planet to planet, basically to find these criminals, to kill them, and then at the end of the game you have to kill or to capture, if you wish, the vicious bad guy.
The super bad guy.
Yeah, the super bad guy. The super criminal.
I mean, the game ends whether you do get to Vicious or not. If Vicious escapes, the game still ends. So nobody loses. I mean, it's just counting of the points at the end of the game anyway.
Exactly.
It just reminds me very much of Star Realms.
Oh, Star Realms, yes.
But a very non-aggressive version of Star Realms, and I think it would be a very good if if somebody might want to play Star Realms, I think this is a very good introductory game to it because it's not as aggressive and it's not as take dirty as Star Realms or, for example, Dune Imperium.
It's a bit more friendly,
it's a lighter, friendlier version. So if I would have, for example, a bunch of children around, I'd be more than happy to present them this game.
Even if the box says 14 plus, only because you have to fight criminals.
Apart from that, I think the game is fairly friendly.
The next game we played is Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest, and it was a very nice game. We really enjoyed it. We have a separate video for this game, which you can find here. It was our game of the month for August, basically.
And what you technically do in Libertalia. And what you technically do in Libertalia is you are an admiral and you have your ship, and for whatever reason you fly with this ship, because why not? And you go try to collect loots before other people collect loots before you.
Then we played 7 more games. So the thing is that in July we got ourselves the 1987, the Channel Tunnel, a very nice two-player only game, worker placement. Then we realized that this game is part of a series. It's called the 19XX series by Looping Games. And then we were trying to find out the rest of the games of this series because we really enjoyed 1987. But we couldn't find these games anywhere in the UK. So we contacted the publisher.
And they kindly donated us.
Yeah, they sent us 4 games.
All 4 games, which is amazing. Thank you very much.
And then we managed to find even the rest of the games of the series. We have all 7 games of the series. And we have been playing these games. They're very, very nice games. And
we're not going to talk about them individually now.
We're not. And the reason is that we are preparing for you guys a separate video. We're going to review the whole series of 19XX games. I'm going to talk all about this series in more detail in that video only. And finally, I would like to mention that I have been playing a little bit solo these 3 months as well. 3 new games solo I have tried. One is Maquis, which is an older game. It was a print and play, and then the Side Room Games decided to publish the version of the game. Again, a very hard to find game. I managed to find a second-hand copy for that, and it's really enjoyable. It's a worker placement game. And then 2 smaller games that were delivered from the Kickstarter this last quarter. One was the Ancient Realm, which is part of the Button Size series, which is a very enjoyable civilization game. It takes about 15 minutes to play. And the other one is called Welcome to Reckoning. Again, it's a bit of a Wild West situation where you're trying to remove tentacles from buildings. Yes, tentacles from buildings, or seize or put fires out. And try to basically save the day.
Well, this was us and our quarterly look back.
Quite a lot of games we played this quarter.
Quite a lot of games. It's surprisingly how many we were being very busy this period, and I'm not entirely sure how we managed to squeeze so many in, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed our video.
Thank you so much for watching.
See you later.
Bye.